Ollie Johnson was born in Oakville in 1892, his family having first come to Oakville in the 1850s on the Underground Railroad route from the United States, where slavery was still a factor. Ollie Johnson was a track and baseball star throughout his school years in Oakville. He played for the senior baseball Oakville Oaks as a talented shortstop, and then joined the Cuban Giants, a Buffalo-based black pro baseball club that toured North America. Ollie joined the Army during the First World War and went overseas with the 8th Canadian Reserve Battalion. During this time, he competed in the Armed Forces track competitions, setting a record of 10 seconds flat in the 100-yard dash and 24 seconds in the 220 yards to become the Armed Forces champion sprinter. After the war, Ollie represented Canada at the British Empire Games in London, as well as the Inter-Allied Games in Paris. At these games, Ollie anchored the Canadian 880-yard relay team to first place in world record time. Ollie Johnson was denied the opportunity to participate in the 1920 Olympics by a silly technical ruling regarding his amateur status. Back home in Oakville, Ollie continued his sports activities with many more track victories, including the first gold medal of the Coliseum Games at the Canadian National Exhibition in Toronto. As well, he continued his baseball career by playing with many championship teams in the 1920s. After retiring as a competitor, Ollie coached other Oakville athletes of Olympic caliber, such as Pete Sutton and Pete Cyclone Taylor. He also maintained his interest in baseball by managing many championship teams. After his death in 1977, the Halton County Senior Baseball League named its premier division the Ollie Johnson Division. An Oakville native, Z graduated from Oakville Trafalgar High School and headed for a career in football at the prestigious University of California in Los Angeles in the United States. At UCLA, Z was a two-time NCAA All-American in 1967 and 1969 as a kicker. He set over a dozen UCLA kicking records and was named to the UCLA All-Century team as a punter. This was an exceptional honor, considering the lengthy history of great UCLA football. Z was drafted in 1970 by the NFL Dallas Cowboys, which started a pro football career as a kicker that spanned 16 years. Returning to Canada, he played with the Toronto Argonauts from 1971 to 1977 and again from 1980 to 1982. In 1978, he kicked for the NFL Kansas City Chiefs, and in 1979, the CFL Hamilton Tiger Cats. In 1983, the United States Football League was formed, and Z joined the Tampa Bay Bandits, where he played through the 1985 season. In 1984, he was named Special Team Player of the Year for the USFL. Z finished his career in 1986 playing with the Montreal Alouettes. Over his lengthy career, Z scored over 1,300 points, 300 field goals, and a lifetime punting average of 44.1 yards per kick. While playing for Toronto in 1977, he is credited with the longest punt in pro football history, 108 yards. Z continued his interest in football after retirement by coaching kickers at various high schools, colleges, and pro training camps. Author of numerous articles and books on football, Z is an ordained Baptist minister and serves as an area director for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Z lives in Tampa, Florida, with wife Sue, where they are involved in many sports and civic activities.
Please welcome 2005 inductee Zenon Andrusician.
Born across the creek in Burlington, Melanie is a product of Nelson High School, and she started swimming at age 10. She trained hard in all strokes, but her favorite was the breaststroke. At age 14, she joined the very competitive Oakville Aquatic Club to take advantage of the coaching of Tom Arusu, a highly respected producer of swimming champions. Melanie credits Arusu for convincing her that, with hard work, she too could become an Olympian. To read the Oakville newspaper headline, "Melanie makes it to the Olympics," was the culmination of a lifetime dream for Melanie McKay. Melanie had trained hard at her specialty, the 200-meter breaststroke, achieving great results. In 1975, a bronze medal at the Canadian Nationals, and a bronze medal at the World Championship Trials. In 1976, she qualified to swim at the British Nationals and qualified to swim at the USA Nationals. She was 5th in the World Championships in Holland and qualified for the Canadian Olympic swim team and competed in the Olympic Games in Montreal, achieving a world ranking of 19th. After the Olympics, Melanie continued to swim competitively and in 1978 competed for the University of Alabama in the NCAA Division I University Championships. She also competed in Canada while attending the University of Western Ontario and was honored by induction to the Mustang Swimming Wall of Fame. After retiring from competitive swimming, Melanie turned her attention to coaching. And in 1986, she joined her old mentor, Arusu, at the Windsor Aquatic Club as assistant coach. She has also coached in Peterborough, Hamilton, and Burlington. In 2003, Melanie returned to the Oakville Aquatic Club as an assistant coach in the club's Olympic Way program.
Please welcome 2005 inductee, Melanie McKay.
Born in Scarborough, Ontario, Mike started his training in the relatively new sport of Taekwondo at high school. He moved to Oakville in 1986, where he began to perfect his abilities in the sport to world caliber levels. During a 10-year competitive career, Mike Morningstar won many competitions and became a 5-time Canadian and North American champion, 1994 All-Japan Heavyweight Champion, and 1994 World Champion. Mike captained the Canadian national team at the World Championships in Malaysia in 1994 and also served as coach of the Canadian team at the 1997 World Championships in Russia. After retirement from competition, Mike, a certified 6th degree black belt international instructor, opened his Taekwondo school in Oakville. Teaching over 22 hours a week, Mike has gained the reputation of being a master in the manner in which he imparts the tenets of Taekwondo, courtesy, integrity, and self-control, and indomitable spirit to hundreds of students, some of whom have achieved international success. Mike Morningstar is assistant to the president of the International Taekwondo Federation and conducts teaching seminars in Taekwondo around the world. In 2003, Mike was the first official ITF instructor to be sent to South Korea since 1972. Through demonstrations and breakathons, Mike has helped raise tens of thousands of dollars for charity. He has received numerous awards for his efforts on behalf of charitable foundations. Through his achievements during his competitive career, world travel, teaching, devotion to his students, and Taekwondo, Mike Morningstar sets an admirable example of living the way in the ultimate Taekwondo tradition.
Please welcome 2005 inductee, Mike Morningstar.
As a member of the Canadian Women's National Freestyle Skiing Team from 1981 through 1988, Meredith Ann Gardner competed in all 3 disciplines of freestyle skiing: ballet, moguls, and aerials. Competing against the best in the world, she compiled an outstanding record in all 3 areas, which is unusual then and today, as few skiers can compete with success in all 3 events. The graduate of Oakville Trafalgar High School compiled a brilliant record of 77 World Cup medals, including 21 gold, 27 silver, and 29 bronze, 15 Canadian Championship medals, including 3 gold, World Cup Aerial Champion of the Year in 1985 and 1988, and more World Cup medals than any Canadian skier. She was selected by USA Magazine Ski Racing as 1988 Freestyle Skiing Athlete of the Year. This record is made more impressive by the fact that Meredith did not compete for the better part of 2 seasons due to injury. Hers is a tough sport. Following her retirement in 1989, Meredith was a participant in the Ontario government's Female Athlete Motivation for Excellence program and made in excess of 100 presentations to schools throughout Ontario. Meredith also proved to be a knowledgeable and insightful commentator for the CTV coverage of freestyle skiing at the 1994 Olympics in Norway. Meredith remains involved in the development of young skiers through coaching and the development of A Guide to Freestyle Skiing, a booklet for aspiring young skiers. During her career, Meredith was known to her teammates as the Devil.
Well, it's sort of usually when we're out, and you've had a couple of beers, and sometimes I just get this look in my eye, and then the rest of the team scatters.
Please welcome 2005 inductee Meredith Gardner.
John Wood began his paddling career in the early 1960s at the Mississauga Canoe Club and later joined the Oakville Racing Canoe Club. His first major success came in 1968 when, partnered with Scott Lee, they upset the favorites to win the Canadian Olympic trials. Wood and Lee raced in the C2 1,000 meters at the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City. The pair also raced at the 1972 Olympics in Munich and advanced to the semifinals before elimination. John then made the decision to elevate his training to world level and spent 1973 and 1974 training in Hungary with some of the best paddlers in the world. His efforts paid off. 6th place, C1000 meters at the 1974 World Championships. 5th place, C1 500 meters at the 1975 World Championships. Silver medal, C1 500 meters at the 1976 Olympics in Montreal. The first Canadian Olympic canoeing medal since 1952. Silver medal in the C2 500 meters at the 1977 World Championships, partnered with Greg Smith. John Wood retired from competitive racing in 1977 after capturing over 30 international racing medals and over 100 racing medals in Canada. John worked as a CBC commentator for canoeing from 1980 to 1988, which included coverage of the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles. He enjoyed a brief comeback to racing in 1985 by competing at the Canadian Nationals while wired for sound. John Wood blazed the trail for Canadian paddlers at a time when the Canadian team had been weak internationally. His dedication and success inspired others and led to the future strong showing by Canadian Olympians such as Larry Kane, Ren Critchlow, and Steve Giles. John continues to support the sport of canoeing through service as a director of the Burloak Canoe Club, of the Canadian Olympic Foundation, of which he was chair from 1996 to 1999, and the Canadian Olympic Association Investment Committee, of which he was chair for 2004. John became a two-sport medalist by capturing a bronze medal in sailing at the 1979 Pan Am Games in Puerto Rico. John Wood resides in Oakville with wife Debbie and his 3 sons and 1 daughter.
Please welcome 2005 inductee John Wood.